The final contract details for DeMar DeRozan and Lonzo Ball are finally here. Let's talk about them. I'm Ross, this is Arturo's Fan Club. Thank you guys so much for all the support the past few days. As you guys probably know, I took a few days off just to relax, recharge, refresh my batteries, and I'm feeling really great. And I appreciate all the kind words that you guys sent me. Definitely been going pretty hard lately. Been hitting the grind. We've got a lot of news. We had the draft, free agency, trades, summer league, all back to back. But I feel like we ended up having a lot of fun. It was a really good time. And now I feel more comfortable being able to give myself some time between videos. So I really appreciate all the kind words that you guys had. But enough about me. Back to the Bulls. There's news, there's things to talk about. Before we get into the contract details, I should point out that Ayo Dosunmu is officially signed as a Chicago Bull for 2 years at the minimum contract, that is, and he is guaranteed for both of those years. I think it's like $2.5 million or something like that for the 2 years. So minimum salary, but he is locked up for the next 2 years. Marko Simonovic is apparently locked up too, but we haven't heard the details on that contract just yet. I'm thinking the Bulls might have used one of their remaining exceptions to lock up Marko longer than 2 years. 2 years is the most that Ayo Dosunmu could have been locked up. Marko Simonovic might get a longer deal. We'll see. And obviously when we hear about that, I'll share it with you guys. But the other contract details that came down were the final numbers for DeMar DeRozan's contract. And we also had a few days ago the final details for Lonzo's contract. But I wanted to get into both of them because everyone talks. Everyone is talking all the time, and you see it on Twitter. The Chicago Bulls overpaid for DeMar DeRozan. The Chicago Bulls locked up Lonzo Ball for too much money, blah, 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 blah. Now, the Lonzo stuff, I feel like we can nip that right in the bud. The Bulls did not overpay for Lonzo Ball. The Bulls got Lonzo Ball at a steal, okay? Looking at his deal, the first year is about $18.5 million. The second year is about $19.5 million. The third year is $20 million. The fourth year is $21 million with an option on that final season for Lonzo. So that's great. That's a great value contract. That's the kind of contract that in 4 years we'll be looking back and thinking like, damn, we got a steal. Lord willing, no injuries, anything like that, knock on wood. But with Lonzo Ball, you've got a young up-and-coming point guard who's growing into the contract. And that's kind of the nature of restricted free agency a lot of the time, is that you are signing players coming off their rookie deals who have shown you a lot of promise and potential, and you are paying for that potential so they grow into those contracts, one. But two, usually restricted free agency is a bidding war. So a lot of the times that's free agency in general. You're overpaying for players. That's free agency. That's just the truth. You are trying to convince guys to come to your team unless they're taking a hometown discount or they're teaming up with friends. Like, those are factors that are separate from normal free agency. Like, normal free agency, you see it in the NFL, you see it in the MLB, you see it in the NHL. Like, every league has free agency, and you see it all the time where players get overpaid because the team really wants them. And restricted free agency is no different. The nature of restricted free agency causes a bidding war because different teams have to give a certain number of money to try to dissuade the incumbent team from matching. So like, that's the term poison pill, where you give this guy such a huge contract that the team does not match it. So with Lonzo Ball, it was a little different because he wanted to be in Chicago. The team was ready to move on from him. But at any rate, this contract is great. It reminds me a lot, actually, of the Zach LaVine contract that we signed him to 3 or 4 years ago when the Sacramento Kings made him an offer sheet. And the money is actually very similar too. Then if you go look at the numbers, they're actually really similar to what Zach was making. So it all kind of worked out in our favor for Lonzo. It's a really good deal, and we're saving a lot of money on a player that originally the number was like 85 million guaranteed. So it's not even that high, and having that player option gives him the flexibility in the final year if he wants to opt in and make that money, or if he feels like he's ready for a new contract. That'll be a whole different discussion further on down the line when we get there. But for this offseason, this is great. The cap hit is not that bad, and I feel really, really good about the negotiation between AK Mark Eversley and Clutch Sports, Rich Paul, who was Lonzo Ball's agent. Obviously, they must have a good relationship. They were able to come to a deal very quickly, potentially illegally, but at any rate, do not fret the Lonzo Ball contract, and do not let anyone tell you that we overpaid for Lonzo Ball. Now, DeMar DeRozan. DeMar's a little different, and I'm going to be realistic about it. His final numbers came in slightly lower than what the original report was, but in the first year he's making 26 million, in the second year he's making 23 million, and in the third year he's making 28.5 million. All of these numbers come from @KevinSmithNBA on Twitter. A good follow, definitely, but all fully guaranteed for DeMar. No bonuses, no options. 3 years, like I said, 26, 27, 28.5. Now, up front, I'm just gonna put it out there before I get too far into it. Yes, we overpaid for DeMar DeRozan a little bit. I saw something last night that was like Hollinger has DeMar's value at like $13 million. That's stupid. No, his value is not $13 million. Now, 26, yeah, it's a little high. And getting up to 28.5. Yeah, it is. That is true. And I think it is fair to say that we did overpay a little bit, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. Like, the term overpay is getting thrown around a lot, like we made some sort of mistake, when in reality, we gave him money to come to Chicago. Like, that's the whole point, man. That's the game. That's free agency. You got to make the money sweet. We made the money sweet so he'd come to Chicago. Like, this isn't the kind of contract that we're going to regret. So, like, when someone tells you that the Bulls overpaid for DeMar DeRozan, I would rebut with, yeah, but what's wrong with that? Don't we want DeMar DeRozan? Like, I feel like people are so caught up in like, it's not my money, for one. It's Reinsdorf's money. Who cares? People are so caught up in the salary cap, and like, cap space is just it's so fake in the NBA. Cap space is fake, man. It's not real. Like, there are we've had this conversation for months before free agency. Everyone's like, oh, the Bulls don't have cap space. They can't do anything this offseason. Well, look at what they did. Cap space isn't real, guys. Look at what the Lakers do every offseason. So with DeMar DeRozan, like, yeah, we did overpay a little bit, but the Bulls never used to pay for free agents. Okay? Never. In my lifetime, the Bulls never paid for free agents. This shows the rest of the league, we will. You can win games, you can go to the playoffs, you can be in the third largest market, the first largest with only one team in the NBA, and you can get paid if you go to Chicago. You'll get paid. So, yes, DeMar's contract is a teeny tiny bit high for the value that he has, specifically the deficiencies that he has on defense and shooting the ball from three-point range on offense. Those issues, and we'll talk fit. I'll get into fit in another video. I have plans to break down in depth the fit of Lonzo Ball and DeMar DeRozan because I'm really excited about it. But all that stuff aside, man, like, really, just don't get caught up in the numbers. Get caught up in the team. Get caught up in basketball and in how these guys are going to play together, because the money is just such a non-factor. It's such a non-issue for us to worry about as fans. That is what AK and Mark Eversley are doing. They are the ones who are worried about that stuff. And like, I'm not gonna say it's not a thing to be concerned about. I should rephrase that a little bit. It's just not something to be like, oh, we shouldn't have made this deal because of the money, right? We wanted DeMar DeRozan, we made it happen. Look, we were able to turn Thad Young and Al-Farouq Aminu, whose contract everyone said, I don't know how you're gonna get rid of that. We were able to turn them into DeMar DeRozan, okay? Al-Farouq Aminu was on a bad contract, on a really bad contract. We were able to flip that. We were able to make something happen out of that. Eric Bledsoe with the Pelicans, everyone said, they're not gonna be able to get out of that contract. You're able to make moves in the NBA. I mean, it does take draft capital. Sometimes the Bulls did have to give up a pick. I understand that aspect too. And I'm not a huge fan of giving up of draft picks to a certain extent. In a deal like this, though, we are making win now moves because we have spent so much time in the draft lottery, right? You draft guys like Wendell Carter Jr., he's not here anymore. You draft guys like Lauri Markkanen, still waiting on what's going to happen with that, but he probably won't be here anymore. Kobe White is still figuring his stuff out, but like, we spent so much time in the draft lottery not making significant moves to upgrade our roster. Okay. And that's a Garpax thing. That's a Garpax issue where they spent so many draft picks on guys that didn't move the needle enough. And when you do that, yeah, you're gonna have to at some point make trades because you're not winning enough. You're not making enough moves in the draft. Some teams, they strike gold, like the Boston Celtics. They struck gold in the draft. They drafted well, and they were able to build a playoff team off their draft picks. Like, some teams can do that. The Bulls have not had that fortune, unfortunately. But, and this is leading me to kind of my overall point here, is that the guys who made these deals are still in charge. The guys that made these trades and made these contracts, AK and Mark Eversley, they're going to be in charge for the foreseeable future. So if this deal doesn't work out with DeMar DeRozan, say in 2023, we're not feeling great about the money, I trust that these guys will be able to make something out of it or fix whatever the issue might be at that time. Because we have a long-term vision, we have a long-term goal, we have the basketball minds in place. And then with the draft picks, yeah, we traded a lot of draft picks. Okay, but look at what Ayo Dosunmu and Marko Simonovic, two guys who were second-round draft picks, are doing in summer league. They've struggled, of course, but they've also shown flashes of greatness, and they've shown us reasons to be excited about their potential. So this is what we're doing. We are building a team. We've got the starters in place. Okay, now we're developing the second-round talent. Like with Garpax, they would just throw away draft picks, bro. They would just ship off second-rounders for money. When you can turn those second rounders into rotational players. Sometimes they turn into stars. Nikola Jokic. And guess what? You guys know the guy who drafted him is in charge. So, yeah, we overpaid for DeMar DeRozan a little bit. It's really not that big of a deal. And I highly encourage you not to worry about it. It's not your money being spent, and the guys who made the contract will figure it out if something does go wrong. We are in good hands, as you might say. I really do trust the leadership with the Bulls to figure out any issues, even unrelated to DeMar DeRozan, that might arise in the future. But for now, for this offseason, it really doesn't bother me that much. And yeah, DeMar DeRozan, his like, I don't know what his market value should have been, maybe closer to like 22 million or 23 million. But doesn't that sound like the difference of 3 or 4 million? It's stupid. It really is. Because once again, cap space is a myth. You can go over the cap. It doesn't really matter that much. Our team is hard capped this offseason because we did make all these sign-in trades. So that is a thing. But we've already made all these moves. We've already got Alex Caruso. We've got Tony Bradley coming in. When we get rid of Lauri Markkanen's cap hold, we're going to have a little bit more money. So, like, we've already made all of these moves. You know what I mean? It's not a thing that, like, is preventing us from making moves. I guess maybe that's the point, is like, if someone argues, oh, the Bulls overpaid for DeMar DeRozan, like, so what? It didn't stop them from doing anything else they wanted to do. So that's where I'm at with it mentally. Like, what is it stopping you from doing? It's just a number. He's getting a number. It's fine. It's not your money. So next offseason, the Bulls won't be hard capped anymore as long as they don't make any other sign-in trades, so they can continue going over the cap to re-sign Zach LaVine. If they want to do another sign-in trade, they can do that too. The Bulls have plenty of options. They have flexibility, and just don't let it hurt you. Don't let internet nerds make you feel bad about the moves that your team is making. I'm super stoked about the Bulls. I know you guys know that. I'm just really excited. So I wanted to address the overpay stuff because it's stupid and it annoys me that people can say it, but I don't want anyone to think that it's a bad thing. It's just, there's such a negative connotation that comes with overpay, which is true. I mean, there are teams and there are contracts in the NBA that are absolutely abysmal. I'm not going to try to deny that. I'm just saying, like, if you're arguing that the Bulls shouldn't have done it, why? Like, what does it change? What did it prevent us from doing? We were able to put together a playoff contending team. And we have the flexibility going forward because we made such good moves with Lonzo Ball, because we did the sign and trades and we have bird rights. Like, we are able to retain that flexibility and make more moves in the future. So I feel good. I won't keep talking about this because I don't want to. I want to get to basketball. I want to talk about the X's and O's. I want to talk about the game. I want to talk about the fit. I'm really tired of talking about numbers. That's not what we do here. We talk about basketball. So thank you guys for watching this long-winded explanation. And thank you guys for all the support and letting me know that it's okay to take some time off every now and then. It means a lot because I've been hustling pretty hard lately, but definitely need to let myself get some rest. Once again, hey, if you like my videos, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I still have the super fan club. We're getting extra content. We're getting all kinds of fun stuff like emojis, badges. Join the super fan club. Most importantly, if you like me and you support what I do and you want to see me make more of it, all the money goes directly to me. And as I always say, anything that comes to me, I put directly back into the work that I do. Gives me the ability to do more research, the ability to spend more time editing, to look at film, to add film to the videos that I do for the Super Fan Club, to look at tape. So all that stuff means a whole lot to me. So thank you guys so much again, and we will talk very soon.